Welcome back, and we're talking with Natalie Clays about
Alan Carr's easy way to stop smoking.
Okay, and before the break, we got on to how you started working with the company. Would you like to continue that journey?
Yeah, as I was saying, Robyn, after finding it remarkably easy to stop smoking, I decided I wanted to get involved with the organisation and help other people to experience what I'd been able to experience. So we were talking earlier about my job, you know, my sort of well-paid job, travelling around the world and, you know, and wining and dining and that kind of whatever. Quit the job, actually worked as a casual. I was the oldest barmaid in town, I think.
Tell me, did you ever miss the travelling around, or were you getting over that anyway?
No, not in the slightest. I felt so strongly about this and so passionate about it. It was all I really wanted to achieve. It was all I wanted to really focus on, was to train as quickly as I possibly could to be able to do this and bring it to Australia, bring it to Sydney.
Okay, so you were the oldest barmaid in Sydney?
I was, actually.
Continue that one.
It was good fun. I mean, you know, I was doing that so that I could work as a casual, so I could basically study and train throughout the day, and then just, you know, earn a few dollars to still to sort of pay my way. So I was a barmaid, I was a hostess in a restaurant, whilst training to do this. And then in July 2005, we opened the Sydney clinic.
Okay. What sort of training? What was the training that was involved?
Combination. Well, firstly, the absolute foremost criteria is you have to have been a smoker. Unless you've been a smoker, you just don't get it. You know, you say to people, just quit. Why don't you just quit? So you really have to understand how smokers feel and that what it is they go through, and that sort of that battle of wills in I want to smoke, I want to quit, I want to smoke, I want to quit. So that's number one criteria. And then it was spending time in the London clinic, which was the original Alan Carr clinic, spending time in the Melbourne clinic training, and then really just my own observations of my own smoking history, my own smoking career.
Okay. Well, what makes Alan Carr's approach different?
The conventional methods focus on why we shouldn't smoke. Expensive, unhealthy, filthy, disgusting. Smokers know all that already. They're not stupid. But we don't actually smoke for the reasons that we shouldn't. We smoke for the reasons that we do. So Alan's method, he doesn't focus on all the stuff, why we shouldn't do it. He looks at why do we do it? You know, why do we do it? Smokers might say stress relief, relaxation, concentration, boredom, habit. And we actually, bit by bit, explode the myths about smoking and prove that cigarettes do not relieve stress, smoking is not a habit, cigarettes do not help you concentrate. And we remove the fear of quitting. So when you approach a normal quit attempt, firstly you approach it with an you expect to fail, and then, for example, nicotine replacement therapy. It feeds you the drug nicotine that you're addicted to, but it doesn't remove the desire to smoke. What Alan's method does is it explains why you really smoke, and then it removes the desire to smoke. So he explodes the myths about smoking.
Okay. Well, a number of the shows that we've had on recently, it's been talking about quantum physics and how powerful the mind is. Is that part of what the Alan Carr method works with, the power of the mind?
The way we approach it, or the way smoking works is it is a physical addiction, but the physical aspect is 5%. That actual physical addiction to nicotine is about 5% of the problem. The big problem is the mental addiction. That is 95% of the battle. Believing that you enjoy it, believing that you need it, believing that you can't stop or that you'll be miserable if you do. So it's very much about explaining smoking in a very sort of logical and rational way, but also really getting it into the right frame of mind, so that when smokers leave our clinics, they don't leave with a feeling of doom, gloom, misery. They leave with the feeling of excitement, of challenge, of really looking forward to getting free, as opposed to that normal feeling of dread.
Okay, and what is your success rate? You personally, because you've had your own business now with it for a couple of years.
Yeah, we have a money-back guarantee. The majority of smokers would just attend one 5-hour session to find it easy to stop smoking. But some people need more than one session, so if they attend 3 sessions in 3 months and they're still smoking, we'll give them their money back in full. And based on that guarantee, well, internationally we have a figure, over 90%. In Sydney we're running at about 95, 96%.
Okay. And one of the things that you also talk about is that people often think, oh, it's the weak-willed people who continue smoking. You want to address that one?
Then that's another myth about smoking. That's another myth, an illusion about smoking. But if you think about it logically, it takes someone with somebody quite strong-willed to carry on, doing that despite all the scary adverts and the knowing the risks. That takes a strong-willed person to continue doing it.
And you're saying it's also someone that's physically strong, otherwise the body couldn't cope with taking in the smoke.
That's right. When you think, I don't know, when smokers have their first ever cigarette, I mean, basically you've got 4,000 ingredients in one of these things, 4,000 different chemicals. They don't list them on the packet for obvious reasons. And they contain things like arsenic and cyanide and formaldehyde and various other poisonous toxins. So when you smoke your first cigarette, smokers will cough or feel dizzy or even vomit, and it actually takes quite a strong-willed person to go through that learning process to teach ourselves to smoke, to actually teach our bodies to become immune to the foul taste and poison.
Okay. A little bit about Alan Carr's journey as into how did he discover this method?
Alan was a 100-a-day chain smoker. He was actually an accountant. I know, it's shocking, isn't it? 100 a day. That was back in the days when you could smoke at your desk and it was quite normal to sort of, puff away and chain smoke. He was an accountant initially, chartered accountant.
And it was also back in those days when it was glamorous. All the Hollywood stars did it and it was promoted as being the thing to do.
That's right, if you think about it. Clint Eastwood, Humphrey Bogart, James Dean, I mean, they were all smokers. So it was very much positioned as this cool, sophisticated, glamorous thing. So it's not surprising that so many people fell into that smoking trap and gave it a go. But yeah, Alan, 33 years of miserable smoking and spent many years trying to get free of it, but just was so miserable every time he attempted it. And I think it was actually his son who he read something in a medical journal, and it was something about to do with the actual physical effect of nicotine, and it was almost like this revelation. It occurred to him from nowhere that you actually do not need nicotine to be happy. You do not need nicotine. Our bodies don't naturally need nicotine. We weren't born needing to smoke. And something clicked within him, and this realization, actually, you don't need the drug, and you are complete without it. And he stopped from 100 a day like that, instantly, just no cravings, because he suddenly realized this problem isn't necessarily physical, it's actually mental.
Extraordinary, isn't it?
Fascinating.
Yeah, because we're also going to see some footage. What's the footage about?
This is an extract from Alan Carr's DVD, and this features an interview between Alan Carr and Robyn Haley. And it very much talks about how Alan and Robyn first met and how Easy Way International began, really from Alan's front room at his home in London, now to an international network of over 100 clinics across 35 countries worldwide.
And then after the footage, we're going to come back and we're going to have with you who?
We've got Serena Securi joining us. Serena was actually one of my clients who attended the clinic. It was back in August 2006 that she came along as a 44 years of smoking. So, wow. So she's going to talk about her experience.
Yep. And then she also, I believe, shared it with her workmates.
That's right. Serena actually, she wrote me a fantastic letter, gorgeous letter about how, this is an absolute miracle, 44 years of smoking. So Serena has become a walking billboard for us and tells everybody, she even carries brochures around, I think, with her everywhere she goes. But she introduced it to her workplace and various friends and colleagues. I think in total she's 15 people of the 15, as far as I'm aware. Well, Serena, I'm sure, will tell you her story, yes.
Okay. Before we go to that footage, can you give us some stats about how many people pass away each year in Australia from cigarette smoking compared to, say, for example, heroin?
Yeah, cigarettes kill around 90,000 Australians a year compared to heroin, which is about 300 people a year. That figure of 19,000, that's just in Australia. The estimated figure, according to the World Health Organization, is 5 million worldwide.
Wow.
and that figure is only set to increase.
Okay, and I've also heard that nicotine is the most addictive drug on the planet. Is that true?
Yes, that's true. I mean, actually, I heard the other day that the RSPCA use an injection of nicotine to put down unwanted pets, dogs.
Oh, isn't that sad?
So just one injection direct into your vein would kill you instantly.
Okay. Now, what sort of diseases are we finding that people are passing away from that's directly related to cigarette smoking?
I've got a lovely picture. I mean, everyone smokers know all this. Well, I mean, obviously, you know, lung cancer, which is probably one of the sort of biggest, scary ones. But there's various other...
Yeah, because that one says smoking causes lung cancer.
Yes.
Do you know of any other products that we sell out there which has something on it that says what the detrimental effects are?
You mean another product which we legally sell that actually kills you,
Yeah,
that we sell over
yeah.
the counter that kills you,
Yeah.
that you're actually intended to take in that format? Not that I'm aware of, Robyn.
Mm.
The thing is, I mean, smokers know all that. I mean, we're not anti-smoking. What we are about is saying, hey, there are other options. It doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be miserable. And you don't have to do it. And you can be free of it.
Okay. Well, let's go to that footage. And after the footage, we'll come back with you and meet Serena.
Thank you.
Stay with us.